Something that's important to realize is that when you're standing up to a chip shot, it's probably slightly different than a full swing shot. Now, full swing, I've had these clubs fit for me. This is my full swing position. Obviously, I'm gripping up the top of the club. In a chip shot, we're generally much closer. The stance is much more narrow. So from there, I need to adjust my hands. If I were to keep my handle and hands in the same position, what you're going to notice here is that the lie angle of the club is very, very flat. Now what's going to happen there is I swing this back, the tendency is for me to pull this here right inside. So what I need to do is I need to grip right down. Actually, for me, sometimes I'll go all the way down to the steel. You're going to have to figure out your right position, but we need to grip down at least halfway down the grip here. Now what that's going to do is it's going to change this angle here. So you've seen this here, it's probably like 50, 52, 53 degrees. And as I grip down the club, it's bringing it up close to about 65 to 66. Now what that's going to do for us now, as we swing the club back, we're going to swing it back more on plane. If we go back into this position, we're going to be swinging it kind of around. It's going to change direction. There's going to be a lot of things happening there. So again, we're going to set up, open up that left foot. The handle is going to be higher. And from there, we're going to be able to chip and have that club more on plane, so you can see that it runs straight out towards the hole there. Up stuff that we've done earlier there, trying to keep it in the middle. But what would happen if we moved it forward? We'd be able to manage this shot, and what would happen if we moved it back? Now, a couple little setup keys that we're going to need to do. I'm going to move it back. Everybody knows this shot. You know, probably, obviously, a lot more weight on my back foot. Hands are much further ahead. Handle is much further ahead. The leading edge is definitely further ahead. It's going to be a low shot. As long as I keep my weight forward here, it should be pretty good contact, but it's definitely a much lower shot. Probably something that you're not used to is moving it up in your stance. So I'm going to move it now up onto my left foot. Now for this here, I can't really necessarily push my hands too far forward. There's a good chance I might catch the leading edge before the ball and catch it heavy. So for this shot, we're going to keep our hands fairly neutral, and you can see where the ball position is, and I'm going to swing back and through, and again, there's no issue. What's going to happen is actually I'm going to hit it lower in the face. It's going to spin a little bit more, and it's kind of a cool little shot. If I move that even further, so I have it almost outside my front foot, I'm actually going to touch the ground. I'm going to call it 4 inches before the ball, and we're going to slide along the ground almost like an airplane landing. Imagine an airplane coming down. It's touching down the runway. It's still at full speed. Hasn't slowed down, and then it's through. So we're going to get in here. Ball position's actually outside my front foot. I'm going to hit 4 inches behind this golf ball. No problem. That club touches the ground, slides through. So the ball position is only really matters if you're starting to move it back. If you're moving it back, then you have to really pay attention to your sternum and your handle. If you're moving it forward, you want your sternum to be basically over the ball, even slightly behind the ball, but the big thing there is the handle of the ball, handle of the club needs to be a little bit back here. If you push the hands forward, generally you're going to chunk that one. So the ball position can move quite a bit depending on the shot. And when we go out on the golf course and we talk about specialty stuff, I want you to go out and practice moving the ball position around, because as we get into hitting specific shots, if you don't have this ability, you're going to lose out when we talk about these other shots down the road.